The Buffalo Bills are off to a blazing start, and it feels like the road to the top seed in the AFC is opening up right in front of them. 3 games in, Buffalo sits undefeated, while several of the other big contenders are stumbling out of the gate. The Ravens and Chiefs are both sitting with losing records. The Jets and Dolphins have yet to notch a single win, and the Patriots are still trying to find their footing. It is early, yes, but there is no denying that the Bills are in a prime position to establish themselves as the team to beat in the conference. What makes this moment even more encouraging is how balanced and complete the Bills' offense has looked. Through 3 weeks, no team in NFL history has ever matched what Buffalo has accomplished. 3 straight wins while scoring over 100 points total, avoiding turnovers, committing fewer than 15 penalties, averaging over 150 yards rushing, and more than 250 yards passing per game. That combination has never been seen before, and it paints the picture of an attack that is firing on all cylinders. The passing game has been sharp, ranking among the top 5 in the league by efficiency, while the rushing attack has been flat-out dominant, standing alone at the very top. Josh Allen has command of the offense, spreading the ball around, protecting possessions, and keeping defenses guessing. The backfield is producing chunk plays consistently, and there is still room for even more growth once the younger players like Shakir and Kincaid settle into larger roles. The most exciting part is that this offense doesn't feel like it has peaked yet. We've seen flashes of how dangerous the vertical passing game can be, especially in big moments last year and against Baltimore in the opener. That element has not fully clicked in the past couple of weeks, but the foundation is there. As the season develops, expect the Bills to stretch the field more and more, forcing opponents to cover every blade of grass. With the efficiency and balance they already have, adding a consistent, deep threat to the mix could make them almost unstoppable. Defensively, the story is more complicated. Buffalo's run defense is sitting in the middle of the pack, while the pass defense has struggled more noticeably, ranking in the bottom third in terms of efficiency. Third downs in particular remain a sore spot. Last season, the Bills were near the very bottom of the league in third down defense, allowing opponents to convert almost half of the time. This year, that number has not improved much, and if not for a disastrous outing by the Jets offense, it would look even worse. Against both the Ravens and Dolphins, Buffalo allowed conversion rates north of 60%, and that cannot continue if they want to dominate in January. The good news is that context matters here. The Bills have been missing key pieces up front, including Ed Oliver, and have been forced to rely heavily on rookies and new additions still adjusting to the scheme. Players like T.J. Sanders and Deion Walker have been learning on the fly, while Cole Bishop has been rotated into bigger roles in the secondary. On top of that, the coaching staff has experimented with schematic shifts, such as using more 3 linebacker sets and leaning into stunts and pressure looks. That kind of transition takes time, and it is clear the defense is still finding its identity. The problems are real, but so is the potential for growth as reinforcements return and younger players gain experience. It is also worth reminding everyone that the goal in September is not to be a finished product. The goal is to survive, stack wins, and keep improving so that by December and January, you're hitting your stride. Right now, Buffalo's defense has flaws, but it also has plenty of paths to improvement. The secondary has talent, the pass rush has difference makers when healthy, and the linebacking group is adapting to new responsibilities. With better health and more time, the defense has a chance to climb back into the conversation as a strong complementary unit to the high-powered offense. Within the division, things could hardly look more favorable. The Jets and Dolphins are still winless, and both have shown serious problems. The Jets do not have a defense capable of carrying their stagnant offense, while Miami's 0-3 start has been plagued by the same old concerns. Injuries stacking up on offense, a defense that cannot quite get stops, and questions about leadership and consistency. The Patriots, meanwhile, sit at 1-2, but their one victory came over Miami, which says more about the Dolphins' struggles than New England's potential. Their young quarterback is now on his 4th offensive system in as many years, and while there are encouraging flashes, that level of instability makes it hard to imagine the Patriots mounting a serious challenge. All of this points to Buffalo cruising toward what would be a sixth straight AFC East crown. That divisional dominance would be valuable enough on its own, but the bigger picture is what matters. Securing the number 1 seed means avoiding the danger of the wild card round, skipping a game where injuries could derail everything, and getting the benefit of both rest and home field advantage. With an early bye already baked into the schedule, an extra week off before the divisional round would allow the Bills to heal and recharge for the games that truly matter. Over the past few seasons, Buffalo has seen how costly wild card injuries can be, and the opportunity to start the postseason healthier and fresher than everyone else is massive. At this stage, the AFC landscape looks wide open. The Ravens have defensive issues and ball security problems. The Chiefs are stumbling through a sluggish start on offense, and the Bengals have lost Joe Burrow for months with turf toe, leaving them in the hands of a backup who is not equipped to keep their season afloat. The Browns have an elite defense, but not enough firepower on offense, while the Steelers look old and inconsistent despite a winning record. Meanwhile, in the South, the Colts are a pleasant surprise at 3-0, but their wins have come against weak competition, and their staying power remains unproven. Jacksonville is talented but messy. Houston's offense has completely fallen apart, and Tennessee looks directionless under a head coach who is in over his head. The biggest challenger in the West right now looks like the Chargers, who also sit undefeated. Justin Herbert is playing at a high level, and the schedule ahead is not particularly difficult. If they can keep stacking wins, they may emerge as Buffalo's primary competition for the top seed. Still, questions linger about whether their defense can sustain success and whether their rushing attack will come alive. The Chiefs, despite their slow start, cannot be written off, but at 1-2, they are already digging themselves into a hole. All of this creates a situation where Buffalo has both the control of its own destiny and the luxury of watching rivals stumble. The Bills have proven through 3 games that they have the most complete and efficient offense in the league, and while the defense needs work, the foundation is there for it to improve as the season rolls on. The division is there for the taking. The conference has more questions than answers, and the schedule ahead offers opportunities for separation. When you shift the focus to the rest of the AFC, it becomes clear that the Bills are in a far stronger position than most of their competition. Start with the AFC North, a division that many expected to be a gauntlet, but is already showing cracks. Cincinnati jumped out to a 2-0 start for the first time in the Zach Taylor era, but that momentum disappeared the moment Joe Burrow was sidelined with turf toe that will keep him out for months. Without him, the Bengals are not the same team. Jake Browning simply is not capable of keeping that roster afloat. Outside of Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, there is little to inspire confidence. The offensive line still struggles. The rushing attack is unimpressive, and the defense does not have enough playmakers beyond Trey Hendrickson to mask the holes. What could have been a season-long battle with Buffalo for seeding has quickly collapsed into a loss campaign for Cincinnati. Pittsburgh is another team that, on paper, should pose a challenge, but when you watch them closely, doubts start to pile up. Their record sits above water, yet they needed help to beat the Jets, surrendered over 30 points to that same Jets offense, got blown out by Seattle, and barely survived New England despite being gifted 4 takeaways. The rushing attack is uninspiring, and that once ferocious defense looks older and slower. The Steelers remain dangerous in spurts, but they do not look like a group ready to go toe-to-toe with Buffalo for 60 minutes in January. Then there are the Ravens, sitting at 1-2 and surprisingly leaky on defense. They have surrendered the most points in the entire league through 3 weeks, and although Lamar Jackson has played well, the support around him has faltered. Derrick Henry has coughed up the football 3 times already, 2 of those fumbles completely altering games in devastating fashion. Add in a porous defense, and the Ravens look far from the powerhouse many anticipated. Their upcoming schedule is not forgiving either, with the Chiefs and Texans looming. Baltimore is still dangerous. No one will argue that, but a 2.5-game gap already separates them from Buffalo, which could prove decisive if playoff positioning comes down to head-to-head records. Cleveland may be the toughest out in that division because of their defense. Their ability to stop the run and control games up front has been impressive, but the problem is obvious. Can they score enough points? Their script for winning requires holding opponents under 17 almost every week, and against a Bills offense that seems to wake up with 30 on the board, that is not a realistic formula. It would be shocking if Buffalo could not find at least 20 points against them, and that is the threshold that likely dooms the Browns. Moving to the South, the picture is even clearer. The Colts are 3-0, a surprising success story under Daniel Jones, who has looked rejuvenated in his new setting. But context matters. Their wins have come against Miami, Denver, and Tennessee, teams with a combined 1-8 record. Jones has stabilized the quarterback position, and Jonathan Taylor remains an elite weapon, but the schedule toughens with games against the Rams, Chargers, and Steelers. The Colts deserve credit, but they are not a team that should scare Buffalo in a playoff scenario. Jacksonville, on the other hand, is a team with talent but glaring inconsistencies. Trevor Lawrence continues to frustrate with poor situational decisions, accuracy lapses, and costly turnovers at critical moments. The Jaguars' defense has bailed them out with 9 takeaways already, but relying on 3 turnovers per game is not sustainable. This is the very definition of a high-variance team, capable of upsetting a contender, but also likely to self-destruct against average opponents. Houston has bottomed out offensively after an offseason of change. A new coordinator, rebuilt receiving core, and shuffled offensive line have produced little rhythm. C.J. Stroud has not helped matters, holding the ball too long and processing slowly, adding his own mistakes to the chaos around him. The defense is tough and well-coached, but you cannot win if you cannot score. For all of Stroud's confidence coming off his rookie year, reality has hit hard in year 2. As for Tennessee, they're an outright mess. Rookie quarterback Cam Ward has shown flashes, but he is saddled with one of the league's most questionable head coaches. Brian Callahan's decisions and game management have been baffling, and the Titans lack the veteran leadership to cover up coaching shortcomings. Injuries across the offensive line and receiving core have left Ward with little chance to succeed. This is not a team to take seriously in the AFC race. That leaves the AFC West, where the Chargers have quietly emerged as the biggest challenger to Buffalo. At 3-0, they are riding Justin Herbert's hot hand and a favorable schedule. Herbert looks confident and in command, and his receivers are producing across the board. The one surprise has been a lack of consistent production in the run game, something many expected to be a strength. If that element comes along, Los Angeles could keep pace with Buffalo. The defense is talented, but has a history of fading late in seasons, so whether they can sustain this start remains to be seen. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. The Buffalo Bills are reportedly shaking up the NFL landscape in a way that has fans and pundits buzzing with disbelief. Sources close to team management hint that the Bills have finalized agreements to bring in wide receiver Xavier Worthy and safety Marcus Williams, creating what could be the fastest offensive unit the league has ever seen. If true, this is not just a tactical move, it's a statement. Worthy, known for his breakneck speed and ability to stretch defenses to their limits, would instantly add a deep threat dimension to Buffalo's attack. Pairing him with a seasoned playmaker like Marcus Williams, whose ball-hawking skills and field awareness have made him a nightmare for quarterbacks, gives the Bills a lethal combination of speed and security in the secondary. Analysts are already speculating that opposing defenses will struggle to contain a team that can go from 0 to full throttle in seconds. The whispers around this potential signing suggest more than just talent acquisition. It signals a shift in philosophy. Buffalo, long known for a balanced but sometimes methodical approach, might be leaning into a more explosive, risk-taking offense that prioritizes speed above all else. Fans are imagining scenarios where Josh Allen finds Worthy streaking down the sidelines, while Williams patrols the backfield with the kind of instincts that turn ordinary plays into highlight reels. The chemistry could be electric, and if the rumors hold, the Bills would suddenly become a nightmare matchup for any team in the AFC and beyond. Of course, nothing is official yet, and insiders caution that negotiations can always shift. But the mere idea of Worthy and Williams joining Buffalo has already sent ripples across NFL circles. Social media is aflame with speculation, mock highlights, and bold predictions, with some claiming this could be the fastest, most dynamic offense in recent history. Whether it's hype or reality, the chatter alone has reignited excitement in Buffalo and reminded the league that this team refuses to play it safe. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.